Hafide, welcome to Weekend Edition. I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi. So glad you could join us. A man caught with drugs while police were investigating a hit-and-run crash is set to plead guilty to the charges in court on Monday. It was last year James Conrad Robinson was arrested on charges of possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and possession of less than an ounce of marijuana. Investigators responded to an accident reported at the hotel in Tamuning. That's where witnesses told police a woman driving the car involved in the accident was staying at the hotel. Authorities went to the room when they found Robinson. Police searched a bag in the room after Robinson told them he did not know who owned it. That's when they found the drug ice, marijuana, a scale of syringes, and small baggies. He then admitted to police that he had picked up a woman to smoke ice at the hotel room before going to game rooms in Tumon, then returning to smoke marijuana. Robinson was also on probation for a previous drug case. His change of plea hearing is set for 3 p.m. on Monday before Judge Anita Sokola. An unpermitted structure sits at the end of the parking lot at 1056 Marine Corps Drive. Operating out of the tin roof canopy-like structure is Min Rong Auto Detailing. But according to DPW Director Glenn Leon Guerrero, the business has been operating without a business permit.
There was no building permit, and so we issued them a notice of violation back in February. And we told them to meet with us, I think March 5th or something like that. They did not meet with us. So we went out again and we told them to stop business or stop operations. And the next step for us is we actually go to Revenue Tax and make sure that, to cease and desist in terms of their business license.
The structure is linked through an extension cord to the neighboring building to generate power for the lights and cleaning devices. However, the business owners did not go through the proper channels of using a record contractor and having the necessary pre-inspections by DPW and other agencies. But DPW is willing to work with the owners.
If somebody, for some odd reason, slips through the cracks, and then this is one of them, we can do it post, and obviously there's a penalty. But still, we would need the as-built, and so that's what we're looking for.
The business was still in operation as of last week. However, a closed sign now hangs on the business window. Once again, the offices of Guam Homeland Security and Civil Defense are keeping with their mission and staying prepared. The agency will be offering trainings to local firefighters on responding to maritime emergencies. Kiani Mendiola reports.
It was in 2002 that Guam was hit by Super Typhoon Pongsonghua, the damage causing fuel tankers to set ablaze, paralyzing the island's fuel for months. Now, after more than a decade, the offices of Guam Homeland and Civil Defense will be offering maritime emergency response trainings to local personnel. GHS spokesperson Jenna Bloss.
For port personnel, for maritime personnel, including firefighters. And this is important for training for fire incidents or hazmat incidents that could occur anytime on the maritime or the port locations.
This is the first time GHS will be offering these maritime-specific courses, although the Port Authority of Guam does conduct its own quarterly trainings on sea burning, and GHS believes that it is important to ensure the safety and security of Guam's seaports.
The ports play such a crucial role in emergency management. We get all of our commodities either through air or sea, so putting the seaports or any of our maritime infrastructures out of order would make a really terrible catastrophic event here on island.
Trainings will be offered through May 7th to the 11th. The 8-hour courses are open to all maritime response personnel from the local and federal governments, military, and private organizations. For more information, you can visit their website at ghs.guam.gov.
Although they're few and far between, it's important that we train for these incidents, making sure that we're prepared for them.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Kiani Mendiola.
The entire month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Just like physical health, dealing with these issues can be extremely painful, and there's first aid training you can take to help our youngest in the community. Here's more. If you feel the weight of the world holding you down, you are not alone. It's May Mental Health Awareness Month, and next week is dedicated to children's mental health. Amy Sue Santos, a social worker at Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, is part of Ifamaguanta, who offers services to our most vulnerable youth, ages 5 to 18. She says their doors in Hagåtña are always open.
Children's mental health is very important, we feel, because they are our future. And if we can help them at a younger age, it kind of sets the stage for their adult life, and we're able to, they can be better prepared for adult life and hopefully productive adults.
For the month of May, Guam Behavioral Health is offering free mental health first aid training. The training is open to all adults who work with youth, or even if you just want to learn how to be there for the young people in your life.
Some of the situations that we deal with are if you come across a youth that may be contemplating suicide, or if a youth is feeling depressed. I'm sure you've heard of first aid and CPR.
Right.
So it's basically the same thing for those medical type situations, but for mental health issues and concerns.
If you sign up during the month of May and complete the free 8-hour training, you'll be certified for 3 years. You might also win tickets to an all-expense-paid trip to New York to see the Broadway show Dear Evan Hansen, and enjoy dinner with Lady Gaga's mom, president and co-founder of Born This Way Foundation, whose mission is to support and empower youth to break the stigma.
Mental health is kind of something that not very many people talk about, and there's a stigma attached to it. And what we really are trying to do through our program and our outreach efforts is to break that stigma and show everybody that mental health matters. Children's mental health definitely matters, and anybody's mental health matters. Again, it's just as important as your physical health.
Slots are filling up fast. To sign up for the training, you can call 300-8371 or send an email to carissa.pangilinan@gphwc.guam.gov. And billions of federal money has gone into the military buildup on Guam. Some of that money now going to a new cultural repository. Congresswoman Madeline Bordalio, Governor Eddie Calvo, and Admiral Shoshana Chatfield dedicated the $12 million cultural repository at the University of Guam. Governor Calvo says this is part of a One Guam initiative.
Towards the clearing of certain properties for the military buildup, it's important that we protect our legacy. And that's what this repository is about.
The repository will hold cultural artifacts to preserve Chamorro culture. 9 soldiers with the Guam Army National Guard are promoted during their annual training in the Republic of Korea. National Guard Bureau Chief and Joint Chiefs of Staff member General Joseph Lengel was there to promote the troops. They are assigned to the 1st 294th Infantry Regiment and Hotel Company, the 29th Brigade Support Battalion, the 29th Infantry Brigade Combat Team. About 500 soldiers and airmen from the Guam Army National Guard are in various locations in the Republic of Korea, supporting a variety of support missions and annual training requirements. Congratulations to our service members on their promotion. Now you're never too young to learn about money. At least that's the idea behind the Stock Market Games, an annual event sponsored by Asia Pacific Financial Management Group. Students compete to see who can make the most money. Nestor Locanto has this week's Business Matter report.
Business Matters. Event host John Ujoa says the Stock Market Games were started 25 years ago by Asia Pacific founder Mick Pexa.
One of the things he really wanted to do was to bring the financial education to our students, to the elementary schools, the middle schools, the high schools.
Ujoa is one of the company's financial advisors. He says the students start off with a fictitious $100,000 portfolio, and they have 3 months to see how much they can grow it.
And their job is to act like portfolio managers. They can pick and choose, they can do their own research of any stocks that they want to invest in. And it's winner take all. So whichever team makes the most money wins.
There are advisors assisting each of the schools.
They're learning about how money works. They're learning about just doing their research, critical thinking, of course their financial and mathematical skills. These skills are going to help them throughout their education when they go off to college, and then of course one day when they enter the workforce.
This year's winner was Charles White, who's actually a homeschool student. He explains his winning strategy.
I just invested in stocks that would have great short-term growth, like events mostly just biotech stocks with products, or in two of my stocks, they were in a lawsuit. So I was hoping that there would actually be a court case during the game, so they would go up. So, because it looked like they would win.
White was inspired by the stock market games and has plans to possibly make it a career.
You get to make money. It's just interesting to me, I guess, whatever you do as a career, usually it would interest you, but also it's like not just as a career, like you can do it as a personal hobby too, for yourself as well as for other people, and I think that's what makes it interesting,
The JFK High School team came in second, and Upi Elementary came in third. For KUAM's Business Matters, I'm Nestor Laconza.
Business Matters.
And in other news, some new things coming real soon for the Guam Election Commission after receiving more than $500,000 in federal funding. KUAM's Nick Delgado has this week's Decision Watch.
The money is in, funding that will help improve the election process on Guam.
Very thrilled to get this $600,000 at this point in time, with the budget crunch the way it is for the government of Guam.
GEC's Maria Pangilinan says this was all made possible from the Federal Funding Act and given over by the U.S. Election Assistance Commission.
To be used to upgrade and update election infrastructure and processes. So we can get the funds right away, but we have to put in a plan, and we have up until 5 years to pay for it, to spend it. So it has to be in a segregated account. It has to be in an interest-bearing account. So while we have the money, it should continue to earn interest.
The money, however, can't be used for general election operations like buying ballots for the upcoming election. But part of the plan, she says, is to ultimately improve the election process for voters.
There are these things called e-poll books, and so that makes signing in to vote electronic. We're looking into that. We're looking into upgrading our machines. That's a difficult thing, though, because we just bought the machines we were using for the 2014 elections. So we're looking into that. What happened was before, when we were shopping for the machines in 2014, these machines were not available. The big version of this machine, what they call the 850s, was available, but it was too big and too expensive for Guam, and we don't need that kind of capacity. So they built these little, smaller ones that are, fun-friendly, which means it's a little bit less expensive, but it does exactly the same thing.
For now, the planning process to spend the cash is ongoing. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Nick Delgado.
The GEC is also holding seminars this week to go over candidate filing requirements and presentations by the Civil Service Commission to talk about the Mini Hatch Act. The seminars are scheduled for May 10th and May 11th at 2 p.m. at the GEC conference room inside the GCIC building in Hagåtña. Now GTA is teaming up for good and helping to make wishes come true. On Tuesday, the company donated 420,000 miles to the Make-A-Wish Foundation to grant 9-year-old Caleb John Cruz's wish. Caleb has been diagnosed with neuroblastoma since he was 2 years old. The young boy's wish was to take his family to Disneyland in California. The donated miles will help Caleb and 5 other family members to go on that trip. GTA will also be donating 2 phones to the family and additional funds for the extra cost of the trip. Stick around for more news when Weekend Edition returns with Trend Spotting.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming of KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
If you get nervous about having dental treatment, you're not alone. An estimated 35 million adults experience anxiety or nervousness at the simple thought of visiting the dentist. As your dentist, I strive to make your visit as painless or pain-free as possible. And I frequently tell my patients that in the 21st century, if we can give you medicines to put your tooth asleep or medicines to take an infection or toothache away, we can surely give you something to help relax you and take all fear away. No one ought to sit in a dental chair thinking of bad childhood memories or fearing injections. If you're a dental coward, but you really do want your teeth fixed, don't wait until the pain is killing you. Come in, tell us your fears, and set up an appointment. We have convinced many that dental treatment doesn't need to be scary anymore. For your helpful dental minute, I'm Dr. Kenny Bourgeois of Paradise Smiles. You shall never know all the good a simple smile can do.
More ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Welcome back. Let's check in with Asha Robles, who has more on what's trending on social media this week.
Hey everyone, I'm Asha Robles, and here's what happened this week on Trendspotting. Controversy continues to circle the Chamorro Land Trust as word comes down that the Attorney General will conduct a review of leases awarded at the CLTC's Prime Barrigada Heights property. As Chris Barnett reported earlier this week, immediate family members of some CLTC employees were linked to plots on the Barrigada CLT property. Here's what the public had to say. Nicholas Tysikin says, "Wonder what crimes they categorize this? Theft of government property? Deception? Corruption? Any thoughts?" Responses to Nick were, Dante Batamana responded, "Deception," and Brennan Fausto responded, "All of it." Ted Oguay says, "Shut the program down until a full review is conducted." After being arrested on drug charges, then being released a day later, Troy Torres alleged that he was being targeted by the Calvo Tenorio administration, specifically that Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio did not want him involved in politics anymore. Torres claims the administration is corrupt and called Lieutenant Governor Tenorio a liar and power-hungry. He also said that he would get to the bottom of this effort to smear him and will sue everyone involved. The Lieutenant Governor responded, "I'm sorry, but there is no factual bias to that. I'm not, nor do I micromanage. We do not direct any investigations or plant evidence." The internet went crazy and had their own reactions towards the situation. Shiro Laghorizon says, "Wow, really? A person arrested for drug charges is holding a press conference and putting blame elsewhere instead of manning up to his responsibilities. Wow, only on Guam." Betsy Alex says, "You blame so many people but yourself. Everything you said on here is all about people and their dirty laundry. There's no point." After being accused of impersonating a public officer and denying it, saying he was framed, Derek Baza Hills admitted that it was him. After being accused of impersonating a public officer and denying it, saying that he was framed, Derek Baza Hills admitted that it was him. Hills was arrested by police detectives on Monday. His arrest stems from 3 criminal complaints in which he allegedly impersonated a police officer. One of the incidents was captured in pictures and was circulating on social media over the weekend. The pictures depicted Hills pulling over a tourist in southern Guam. He allegedly fined the driver $40 for speeding. Here's how our online community reacted. Christine Oliver says, he needs some major rehab. And Gavin_Lance joked by renaming him Derek Baza Pills. The abrupt passing of Father Duenas High School principal Tony Thompson is still a shock to all of us. Thompson collapsed at an FD Friars volleyball game and was transported to Naval Hospital on Saturday, April 28th. We honor the teachings and ethics of a man who embodied everything positive and admirable about being a friar. He will be greatly missed by his friars family and by all of the lives he touched through his support and love of local sports. Masses are at 6 p.m. at Santa Teresita Church in Manilao, with rosaries following at the chapel at FD. Here are what some of his older players and friends had to say. Sevalicious said, "R.I.P. my father figure and coach. I'm really going to miss you. Basketball will not be the same without you." Irv_Jose added, "Love you, coach. Watch over all of us. Continue to guide the programs you've built as your work will carry on. Hashtag Guam Basketball. Hashtag Friar Nation." And from all of us at KUAM, we send our deepest condolences. That's it for now. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Asha. Keep it here when Weekend Edition continues after this.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Our mighty SUV mega sale is going on now at Cars Plus, and you're going to save big with cash back on every purchase. Get to Cars Plus and shop our great selection of Hyundai Santa Fe's, Tucsons, and the all-new Kona, Guam's most affordable SUV. Or our full line of Jeeps, like a new Jeep Renegade, save $6,000, or a new Jeep Cherokee, save $4,500 with rates as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Cars Plus, mighty SUV mega sale. Cars Plus, driven by you.
We're celebrating our 135th anniversary today, both in the outlying regions on which we hub and also here in Guam itself. It means so much to our team here in Guam. It means a lot to us in the Matson management team, because what it says is we're here to stay. It's a real physical manifestation of our commitment to this region. It's so important that we hire locally, we develop talent locally, we train locally. What's been a wonderful addition to our approach there is that many of the people who started off in Guam have gone off into significant leadership roles elsewhere in the company.
This is our headquarters here in Guam in Micronesia. And when we talk about putting down our roots, it's not just doing business, it's about everything we do with our friends, our customers, and our employees. I believe that nobody can replicate what we do, and that's why we have such a great team and such a great service and why we're successful. This is our home, this is our life, and we're happy to make a difference in everyone else's life.
All right, everybody, this is the part of the program where we tell you how you can be safe and how you can help your fellow Guamanians. The Sarge, Officer Paul Tapao, is here with GPD and the Guam Crime Stoppers Program. Hafide.
Hafide, thanks for having me.
All right, you're welcome as always, and really, really welcome today because we are talking about a very delicate and very disturbing crime that happened down in Ipan. We're going to get into the mechanics of that, but it brings to light situational awareness, I should say. And, you know, if you grew up on Guam or if you just moved here, everybody knows we're very respectful. We value privacy, we value peace and quiet and everything. So when it comes to you sitting around, and if even people that you don't know, maybe on the other side of a park or, you know, a beach, if something's going on, what should they look for?
Your first thing is your awareness. That's important to understand your situational awareness of what you're going to be doing and where you're at. If you do see something that's out of the ordinary or something suspicious that is going to trigger an alarm, that's going to be your first telltale sign that, take note. At least take note and understand that, okay, this is drawing my attention for some reason. Maybe I need to either be a little bit more, put more caution into it, or have a better backup plan or a contingency plan in the event. And this is where we need to start thinking that way, that we should always have a contingency plan and stop taking things for granted. Stop having that tunnel vision approach that I'm going to park my car and everything will be fine from the parking lot into the store. Things may happen, things can happen. So set that mindset in play to where in the event something should arise, you have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. And again, the first thing that comes to mind is your alertness and understanding that if this is bringing attention and my spidey senses is kicking in, then maybe I should pay attention just a little bit more to what's going on around here.
Now, if you happen to be unfortunately like a victim of crime, and maybe there might be people around, you never know that, right? If you are apprehended, if you are approached by like a stranger and you just feel in any way in danger, what's the best thing to do? Should you yell out the word help? Should you scream GPD? Or like what's the best thing to do to help?
Draw attention to you. People don't want to get caught, and the more attention that you bring, because that beach is pretty much accessible to a lot of people within the community, and people do come there after work just to hang out, to see the sunset and everything. Draw attention to you. First thing you do is create that sense of commotion where people are going to look to find out what's going on, because you want to do that, and that would trigger some sort of survival mechanism in you to say, okay, now this is it. Whether it's a fight or flight situation, I need to start analyzing what's going on, because when you become struck by the fact that you have no awareness what's going on, and this is where, again, the first step is alertness and understanding. Once you do that, your survival mechanism skills are going to kick in. Fight or flight mechanism, how am I going to approach this, how am I going to handle this, what's the best thing to do, what's the next thing to do, because once you start training yourself to do that, it prepares you for the next step or the next level. But first, draw as much attention to you. If you can't put up a fight, create space and flee. That's the best thing to do, is to space and distance, and fleeing from your adversary is really recommended. If you can't put up a fight, create a distractionary move or something where you can actually separate yourself and flee. But really, again, it starts with the mind adapting to what's going on and understanding how to adapt to that situation.
All right. Now, as Guamanians, we always like to take care of our neighbors, and if we ever see or hear or feel that somebody's in trouble, people walk over and they're like, "Hey, man, you okay, bro? Everything happening all right, ma'am?" Conversely, if we're, we happen to share a park and we see something, should we directly call GPD or the fire department first, or should we walk over and try and help? What's the best thing to do if you're an onlooker?
If you're a bystander and you witness this, or witness an event that's out of the ordinary, go ahead and call 911. Tell them there's a suspicious event that's happening. Try and stay online so you can provide the playback as to the operator or the dispatcher asking information. By doing so, it prepares our officers that are responding, or a first responder, whether it be medical or law enforcement, as to the event that's happening and occurring. And by doing that, you're now providing that sense of comfort for the person who's being assaulted or who's in that situation. And of course, maintain that safe distance in which you can provide aid by screaming. It's like a pack of wild dogs. If you yell, hey, you assert yourself and you maintain your assertness, and you say, hey, you stand your ground, they're going to eventually stop, or they're going to eventually flee. And that, in that sense, that's where you want to provide that from a safe distance. Make your assessment whether you can engage, or whether it be more appropriate just to call 911 and say, this is what's going on, I'm calling from a safe distance.
Okay, so this is germane because this week's Crime of the Week is a very disturbing, as I said, like a case that happened down in Ipan.
Yes, this is the sexual assault case that happened on Tuesday, and please pay attention to the time frame, because at 6:45 the suspect was seen within the vicinity, and we're looking at close to the roadway and the main pavilion. So if anybody that was transiting to and from, whether from work to home or coming around the area to the store across the street, and you may have seen this individual, please give us a call to help us with our investigators, and more importantly, to bring closure to the case and to help the victim.
All right, here's what you need to know.
The Guam Police Department is asking the help from the community relative to a sexual assault that occurred at the Ipan Beach Park in Talafofo. Now, the preliminary investigation suggests that on Tuesday, May 1st, officers from the Southern Precinct Command responded to the Ipan Beach Park in Talafofo relative to a sexual assault complaint. Upon the officers' arrival, they met with the female victim who indicated that shortly before 7 p.m., she, along with a female friend, were sitting on the beach of Ipan Beach Park. The victim further informed officers that an unknown male approached her from behind, brandishing a knife, and informed them to place their face in the sand while inquiring for the victim's keys and money. While the victim's face was in the sand, the male suspect began sexually assaulting the victim, which prompted the victim's friend to scream out of fear. The suspect then stops and fled with the victim's black Toyota Camry, which was witnessed motoring south on Route 4, Talankatantasi, Ipan Talafofo. Now, the male suspect was only described to be possibly Chamorro with a medium belt, having short hair or possibly bald, and was last seen wearing a red jacket and blue jeans. Prior to the assault, between the hours of 6:45 p.m. to 7 p.m., the male suspect was seen sitting on a park bench within the park. Now, the Guam Crime Stoppers is reaching out to the community for the help in reference to this case. If anyone has any information about this crime or any other crime, you can call our 24-hour hotline at 477-HELP, that's 4357, or submit a tip online at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. All calls will remain completely confidential, and a cash reward of up to $1,000 could be paid if the information provided leads to an arrest and a grand jury indictment. Your call does make a difference.
All right, Paul, hopefully we can get a lot of information. A lot of people will come forward or just say, I have some information about that because I want to make sure I help out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we want to make sure that we provide that information, that, you know, whether how minute it is, if it's any information that can help our investigators steer the right way, that's where we want to go with this investigation, because like you said, this is a horrible crime that happened and it shouldn't have happened. And, you know, as Guamanians, you know, we want to help with the healing process, but first we got to bring closure to the case and provide that for the victim. So if anybody has any information, 477-HELP or guam.crimestoppersweb.com, completely anonymous. And, you know, it provides that missing piece to the puzzle that we always stress about in crimes that are being committed. So please give us a call.
Well, we thank you as always for your time and your information. If anything else comes up out of this crime, we would like to hear from you as soon as
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, we want to help the victim bring closure to this case.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
We are back right after this.
Our mighty SUV mega sale is going on now at Cars Plus, and you're going to save big with cash back on every purchase. Get to Cars Plus and shop our great selection of Hyundai Santa Fe's, Tucsons, and the all-new Kona, Guam's most affordable SUV. Or our full line of Jeeps, like a new Jeep Renegade, save $6,000, or a new Jeep Cherokee, save $4,500 with rates as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Cars Plus, mighty SUV mega sale. Cars Plus, driven by you.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Summer's right around the corner, but first shift into spring with Triple J. With 0 down, 1.9% financing, and easy trade-in, now is the time to buy. Get into our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $217 per paycheck. Car and drivers 10 best, Mazda CX-9 at $242 per paycheck. The Mazda 3 sedan at only $137 per paycheck. Or the North American Car of the Year, the 2018 Honda Accord at only $216 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J Auto Group, customers first.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamer Birthday Club.
Happy birthday, Mervin Atchelig Ling Lao. And a happy birthday to Karina Jules Leon Guerrero. And a very, very happy birthday to Gayleen Cruz.
Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamer Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include your photo, your name, and your birthday. That's all the time we have from all of us here at Guam News Network. Thanks for watching and have a safe weekend.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.